Hey, this is Tim, licensed loan officer. Welcome to the channel. On this video, we're going to get into how much can I afford? All right, thanks so much for watching. And I want to let you know what this channel is about. So this is an up and coming channel. So I like to always tell people what it's about because we're new and don't have a lot of subscribers. So I love talking about first-time home buyers, buying investment properties, saving, you need a down payment, and then, improving your credit, things like that. I'm dedicated to helping basically first-time home buyers buy their homes. And then I'm also dedicated to help first-time investors buy their home. So today we're going to talk about how much can I afford? So this is a question I get a lot. Whenever I talk to clients that I'm working with, I always ask them like, what is your comfortable payment? What are you shooting for? But a lot of times some people aren't ready to talk to a lender. You may just be kind of browsing online because a lot of times you've been thinking in the back of your mind about buying a home, but you just kind of don't know the process and how much you can afford and where to start. But you can watch a video. So that's what I want to talk about. So we're going to get into how much we can afford. So I made a little short presentation and I'm just going to kind of educate you on it. And then if you have questions, drop me a comment below. I'd love to get back to you and answer it. Okay, so let's talk about debt to income first. Now, there's two types of debt to income. There is the front end debt to income. The front end debt to income is just your household. So just your payment. And then the back end debt to income, that accounts for everything, like all your minimum payments, like your car payment, your minimum car payment, and then your potential mortgage payment. That's called your back end. So I wanted to make this simple for you. So what I did is I just put 45%. And what you could do, you could take your income and let's just say, I'm going to give you another example on the other slide, but you can always take your income and time it by 0.45. And that's a good rule of thumb that you can afford X payment. Now, another way you can get a good ballpark if you don't want to do any math is you could just say, hey, I know I make $30,000 a year. And you could time that by 3. Same thing. I make $50,000 a year. And then you could time that by 3, which would be $150,000. So what that does, it's not exact, okay? Because if you make $50,000 a year and have a car payment, then you can afford a little bit less home than if you didn't have a car payment. So, but this is all about just giving you kind of a ballpark idea, okay? Because you're just exploring, you're in the beginning stages. So if you make $50,000 a year, you time that by 3, generally speaking, you probably should be looking at homes around $150,000. So you can always just do a filter on Zillow or Realtor or whatever site you're using. Look at those kind of homes, and that kind of puts you in the ballpark. Now, I'll kind of give you a little bit deeper into it. So on the example, whatever you make, you put in that number, whether it's 50, 60, 30 a year. And the way that works in the mortgage world, we go off of like your monthly gross income. So we don't use your bring home income. We use your monthly gross. So you could always take whatever you make, divide it by 12, and that would be basically your qualifying income. Does that make sense? So whatever you make, just divide it by 12, and then that's your income. Now, this is going to be a little bit more exact, okay? Now, remember I told you that there's 2 debt to income. There's the front one, which is just for housing, and then the second one, which includes everything. So now, after you have your monthly income, you took your income, you divided by 12, we're going off gross. Now you can time it by 0.3. And if you time it by 0.3, then this means that somebody that makes $50,000 can afford about $1,249. of a mortgage payment. Now this 1249 includes like principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So that's your total housing expense. It does not take into account like your utilities, your cell phone, and things like that. Now, there's one more caveat to this, is that this is only housing. And then the 45 would be the total back end. Back end means it counts like your car payment, your minimum payments on your credit cards. Now, with this 1249, you might say, well, what purchase price is that? So that's kind of a little sticky there because there's different taxes for different cities. So what I would do if you're looking for a payment about $12.49, I would just go ahead and put that in Chat GPT and says, "Hey Google, I can afford a payment of $12.49. I'm looking for in this area what purchase price I can look at." And it's really not cut and dry, like I said, because if you don't have any debt, then this 1249 generally could be a little higher, honestly. And just so you know, in the mortgage roll, we usually can go up to 0.35 or 0.36 depending on your credit score. So the higher credit you have, you can go a little higher. The lower your credit is, you have to stick to that 0.3 amount. So that's why nothing's really cut and dry when it comes to the mortgage industry. That's why I want to be very general with you, because if I just, give you a direct answer, then you think that's gospel, and it's not like that. Every situation is a little bit different. But this will give you kind of a good ballpark. Like I said, you could take your income and time it by 3, like your annual salary by 3, or you can do a little bit of math, or you could just kind of ballpark it. So there's multiple ways that you can kind of figure out how much you can afford. Now, if you want a better idea, you can always contact me or comment below, and I'll answer some questions for you and help you determine that. But it's good to have a good ballpark. Now, you also should do your budget. Not just go off of the math and the numbers, but what kind of payment are you looking for? And then you want to see if that's realistic for your market or where you live. That's very important too. And you don't want to put yourself in a bad predicament, because we go off of gross income, and then you may bring home a little bit less, and then you have deductions and things like that. But again, it's very important in the beginning stages to kind of have that idea so you can know what to look for and see if you can find that perfect home, within your budget. All right. Well, I just wanted to talk about a little bit about how much you can afford. I hope this helped. I hope this led you in the right direction. Let me know if you have questions. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll see you again on the next video. Thanks.